13:15. German Chancellor Olaf Scholz has set off on a whirlwind diplomatic tour today, in an effort to avert the invasion of Ukraine by Russian troops, starting in Washington where he is expected to be received by President Joe Biden this evening. Under pressure to show more commitment towards backing a military effort by Ukraine as it seeks to defend itself from the threat, but facing tough resistance back home over deploying lethal weapons, Scholz's first US visit since becoming German leader in December has been described both at home and abroad as a face-saving mission, in which he will be expected to prove Germany is a reliable partner. Ahead of his departure, he struck a more defiant tone over the crisis than in recent weeks, informing the broadcaster ARD that he intended to send more troops to Lithuania in an effort to strengthen NATO's eastern flank. Scholz is still at pains to prove that the crisis can be solved diplomatically, and this is what the German public also believes, drawing on the experiences of the Cold War when there were frequent threats of violence and a strong sense of the danger being close at hand. But crucially, the Biden-Scholz partnership remains untried and untested. Scholz is first and foremost viewed in the US capital as the successor to Merkel. He must yet prove he is his own politician and willing to provide European leadership. The success or failure of the leaders' relationship could yet prove vital to averting a crisis. Not least as French President Emmanuel Macron's political future is unclear and British Prime Minister Boris Johnson's attention is being diverted by domestic affairs. Scholz acknowledged in the TV interview that hard political work would be required in the coming days and weeks, and that at stake was nothing less than preventing war in Europe. But there has been particular irritation in Washington over his refusal to explicitly state that the gas pipeline Nord Stream 2 will be halted if Russia carries out its threat to invade. Scholz has so far refused to be pushed any further than saying, "Everything is on the table." He has left it to others, such as the German ambassador to Washington, Emily Haber, to effectively finish his sentence as the Americans would like to hear it. The Chancellor has openly said that in case of a Russian invasion into Ukraine, everything is on the table, all options, including Nord Stream 2, she said in a recent interview. She also reportedly sent a diplomatic note to Berlin in which she warned that Germany was not being taken seriously as a reliable partner. Scholz has so far established something of a reputation as the Chancellor who says little, who prefers keeping his statements vague and reacting to others' comments rather than stating his own aims clearly. But this has contributed to a drop in his domestic popularity from 60% at the start of the year, to 43% just a month later, and he is under pressure to change his tactics. The Washington encounter, which will be followed by an interview with the broadcaster CNN, will likely force him to come clean on a number of uncomfortable questions, particularly surrounding energy security, namely, why it is that Germany remains so dependent on Russia for its energy, despite its decision a decade ago to decommission all of its nuclear power plants by next year and phase out the use of coal by 2030. Scholz's US trip will be followed by a meeting with the President of the European Council and the heads of Baltic states before he visits Ukraine and Russia next week.